Live from the City of Angels. Thursday night. MMT's breaking box office show. Well, just the box office preview show. Breaking box office Sunday morning. This is actually from tonight's film, if you can believe it. One of the tracks from A24's Friendship. You'll hear in the background of this film we discussed tonight on our live evaluation. A24 is on my good list after Warfare. Can they make it two in a row here tonight as we discuss Paul Rudd in Friendship? Thanks for being here, live as always, on Thursday night. As we get into it here, turn down the music. A little surprised when I heard this kind of synthy stuff going on inside this soundtrack. I mean, the movie itself, and we're going to get into it just in a second. The movie itself is a little of everything. I think that's to its detriment. I wish it were less of a lot of things, and we'll discuss that here tonight. I don't hate the film. That's good, right? But, again, a disappointing film here on this Thursday night. It is going to be a quiet weekend box office-wise, guys, because we are looking at the only new film out this weekend that's even semi-wide is Clown in a Cornfield. And then, what is the other one? Strike Force or something? That Lionsgate movie that's totally gonna bomb. I mean, did you see that thing? We'll check ticket sales here in a few minutes. I mean, that's something I'm gonna skip. Also, the Fight or Flight. I mean, this is gonna be a weekend where Thunderbolts does not kick total ass and win and have a really strong hold, then Marvel's in even bigger trouble than we think it is. We'll talk about the retitling, all that coming up. But let's get into Friendship. It is our MMT evaluation here live on this Thursday night as we get ready for the trailer here. Let me pop it up and we will show you a taste of the film, and then I'll get into what works, what doesn't work. Here is A24's Friendship.
Oh, man, that's Jerry. Whoa. Oh, yeah. This is my dream car. I hope you get it one day. This thing is absolutely cherry.
Friendship is a disastrously awkward bromance.
Really excited about it.
The funniest thing I've seen in my entire life.
You just gave me goosebumps.
I played this trailer because I need to have a word with the people who issued these quotes, but let's just watch like about 15 more seconds.
An instant classic.
My whole body was vibrating.
It's I Love You Man for sickos.
Whoa, buddy. This is insane. I don't wish to continue this friendship at the moment.
Friendship.
Okay, here we go, guys. You get a taste of the film right there. And yes, it is about a bromance between Paul Rudd and this Tim Robinson, who apparently was on SNL. Guys, I don't watch SNL, so I'm not really familiar with his work. First time I've really seen this dude, awkward-looking guy, right, is in this film. And it portrays this loser in Robinson as he tries to glom onto and catch some of the success of Paul Rudd's weatherman character. And by the way, Rudd here is very much playing a version of like Ron Burgundy. I mean, it's almost like he took his character from Anchorman and said, I'll slide it in here to Friendship. And when you watch the film, trust me, you cannot miss that very fact. What this film has going for it is it has a lot of interesting thoughts about fitting in and trying to be part of the boys, especially for a guy who's not cool and really has never been part of a pack. So there's a lot of things that are interesting to explore within that. Okay, that idea is cool. I think it's interesting how, you get obsessed with someone else and maybe you're like, okay, I'm going to do whatever it takes to impress this person, be part of their group, of their entourage. But here's where the film misses, and it's a big miss And it doesn't really surprise me, nor should it you. We're talking about an A24 film. So what typically happens with A24? You get steeped in absurdity and especially awkward humor here. I don't find people being awkward, saying weird things, saying things that are just kind of make everyone go cringy. I don't find that funny. I find humor that is railing on, things that we believe and all of the things that we trust in, and we go ahead and subvert that and we attack that. I love a film like a Tropic Thunder, right? Very funny. Come on, man. That's a comedy. That's where you're laughing. This film's laughs are built in Anderson's being strange and you going, oh, that was really not appropriate to say, okay, repeatedly throughout the film. But it's not just, that kind of humor that doesn't work. It's the fact that there's so many choices in this film that are not grounded, right? And I know, right, it's a black comedy. I get it. But when you have things happening on the screen that you say, okay, what are we doing and why are you going this weird? Can't we just do something a little bit less, right? It's so often when I do these evaluations, it's always about dialing down things, right? Take the eccentricities here and pull it down to an 8 instead of a 9 or a 7. Would be better for me. But it's way up there on the awkward, weird scale that it lessens the impact. I also am not a fan of Tim Robinson in this film. I haven't seen his work before, but he just does things that feels like an SNL skit. And when I found out that he was on SNL, I'm like, well, this makes sense. He's almost playing like a caricature of someone that you'd find in that SNL skit. And that also doesn't sit right because that takes you out of what should be a very intriguing and I think emotionally more heavy look at a damaged dude who's trying to be something he's not and will never be cool to his family, certainly to his wife. This film has a lot of similar feels to a film that I really like. It's Dream Scenario, another A24 film with Nicolas Cage from, I believe, last year, right? Or was it 2 years ago now? Huge fan of that film. And while that film went out into the absurdities, it still managed somehow to ground itself and make it very human at its core. And that's what makes that film a stronger film than this, which again shares so many similar just overall vibes with this film. So I need to see something different from Tim Robinson. This act that I see in this film, I got enough of it, and I got enough of it pretty quick in this, okay? Because again, he's going back to that same SNL kind of caricature, goofy, this guy is so uncool kind of thing throughout the entire thing. And then you got Rudd doing the Anchorman thing. He's not playing the weather guy. Remember, Rudd was the reporter, right? In Anchorman. And he's now the weather guy in this movie. So you're like, okay, why do we have to be so on the nose with these, especially with Rudd? I do like the soundtrack and the music used here. You heard the track off the top, which was unexpected. There's a lot of cool usages that comes in and out. I also like how the director here doesn't leave things in too long. Like a song will pop in, get you a nice taste of it, and then it evaporates. I think that's a nice choice. Overall, I like the direction here. It's got a neat aspect ratio to it, little squeezed. It also has, I believe it looks like it's shot on film. If not, it has that look, and that always works for me. A24 typically will give you that. Overall, this is a film that disappointed, but I was intrigued with it, and I was never totally out of the film, right? When I'm watching this, I wasn't saying to myself, I want to be somewhere else, and I think that is important when you are talking about should you see or not see a film. I mean, listen, I'm going to put it at 65%, which is pretty decent, but the thing that makes this disappointing and why I have to go thumbs down is I see a version of this film that would have been much better, stronger, and overall have more of a impact, and this film doesn't, and that's the disappointing factor that we have to talk about here tonight with this film that is now in limited release on, I gotta turn down my light, literally just cranked up, on A24, has a platform on this, New York, LA, I believe Chicago this weekend, maybe. But you'll get this thing wide, I believe, next weekend. If not, it'll be 2 weekends. This is a close call. I don't think that you're going to hate yourself watching this, but you're going to see the cracks I see, and you're going to say, man, we could have had a better film. And that's the disappointing thing. I never want to say that, and here we are tonight with Friendship. Definitely not the funniest movie I've ever seen, like GQ said. Or what the funniest thing I've ever seen? And, oh, my God, laugh out loud, best thing ever. I mean, there was a guy in my screening tonight that was laughing at things, at everything. I mean, if you're that guy and you think that someone saying something totally inappropriate is funny all the time, then there you go. Then you probably will laugh during this movie. But all in all, it's just a little bit short here tonight on the MMT evaluation. Any comments here? Anyone else see Friendship? Again, I know a lot of you are in locations that you're not going to get a chance to see this film until it gets to you either next weekend or the weekend after. Yeah, exactly. Tropic Thunder is one of the best comedies of all time, right? Easily. And I told you, if you made me the studio head at Continental, I would greenlight another Tropic Thunder in a second with everything that made everyone pissed off, nothing would be taboo. We'd go all in on attacking and using every joke that we used the first time around. Why wouldn't I? Right? Because I'm not going to hold back and worry about someone complaining that you went too far or this is inappropriate or you can't say the R word. We just said retard. Are you okay? Oh, okay. We're going to survive. It's a word. We're all going to survive. Okay. Let's have a look here at New Avengers. As you guys know, it's Thunderbolts retitle. That's what the asterisk was for. Big story here this week. And listen, I didn't really update the story from back on Sunday with Marvel Studios in trouble. This is a sign that I was right? You go and you look at them all of a sudden saying, let's call this the New Avengers, which I alluded to last Thursday in the MMT evaluation of Thunderbolts that we all know it's not really Thunderbolts, right? I called it then, but I didn't spoil it. I could have told you it's the New Avengers, and it is. So as we look here tonight at this film that still is listed as Thunderbolts on AMC, you can see that the sales at 7:30 just going off now in Los Angeles is actually pretty solid at Universal and IMAX. Okay, that looks good. Now, here's why it should look good. There ain't nothing else to see, as I alluded to off the top here. Most of you can't even see Friendship. I mean, will I see Clown in a Cornfield? Why not? I see virtually every horror film. So, yes, and also I liked Dale and Tucker versus Evil. I think that's the same director, right? Whatever the title of that was. From back in like 2012, 13, somewhere in there. That's a cool little horror film. I like how that works with the comedy aspect. So hopefully this film has some of that going on. But Thunderbolts has free reign this weekend. So there's no reason this film should not be holding at 50% or better. That means 45, 46, 47. It should not be minus 58 or minus 60. There's no excuse for Thunderbolts / Thundercocks / the New Avengers to be at minus 60%. But listen, it is desperation, Mount Fillmore. I mean, when you look at them saying this is the New Avengers, as we saw on Monday, literally the day after opening weekend, we're like, hey, it's the New Avengers. Let's get people talking about this movie that's not that great. Okay? Thunderbolts, not an exceptional film. No matter what people tell you, ain't the truth, and you know it because we're the GOAT. And standard, baby. You know that. You're watching MMT. No one's better. Nobody. They can all say whatever they want, but it ain't true. We're number one. But here's the thing. Marvel has to figure this shit out before they get to Avengers next year. And all they have left is Fantastic Four. Once that's over, they got nothing. Don't talk to me about the TV shows. We're not discussing that shit. But from a movie, from a theatrical standpoint, if Fantastic Four isn't a total laughable knockout, because it is a comedy, right? You can tell. And also manages to bring in a lot of what we're going to see in Avengers and do so in a badass way, not Thunderbolts, but in a badass way, then we can feel better about Marvel and where they're going to be when Avengers drops next year. But yes, it does reek of desperation. Steve, I stomached Warfare and must say it's excellent. Amazing craft, Oscar-worthy sound. I tried to separate myself from the content. It was good. Right, a one-off but important film. Powerful and effective. Go MMT. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate the super chat here. Huge fan of Warfare. Better film than Friendship, both from A24. Different films, obviously, but I'm a huge fan of Warfare along with Companion. Those are the two best films of the year. There's something else in there I'm forgetting right now, but those two films are right there, right? Those are the top of the mountain here in 2025. Not Thunderbolts and not Friendship or any of the things you're being told. These are the best films of the year, and of course we'll have that at the end of the year, but I think Warfare will easily be in the top 10. It's so effective at being so simple in what it's doing, right? Drops you into one location, one night, stretching into the next day, and we've got to survive. There's something about that simplicity that really works for Warfare. And you know, it's funny. Can Marvel ever consider doing something like that? Right? It's always about bigger and let's expand the story. Now, I'm not saying that every Marvel movie has to be like that, but wouldn't it be cool if Marvel did something almost experimental with a film and did something really contained like a Warfare with the MCU? You know, I'd have to think on it. We'd have to work on it. And we'd massage it. We'd get it together. But the point is that's an idea. I'm tired of every time we have a new iteration, a new version, a sequel, we always have to go bigger. Why can't we go smaller? I talk about that all the time. I just mentioned here tonight with the evaluation of Friendship. It's about dialing things back. It's about bringing down volume levels rather than raising volume levels up. And this town so often thinks the answer is always to crank it to 11 versus bring it down to an 8. You know, it's just the same old thing over and over. Steve, another super chat. Thank you again, sir. Always, always appreciative of that. Best thing about Thundercats is Florence in a tight outfit. I would agree. I mean, I would 100% agree with that. I've told you it's okay to say Florence Pugh looks awesome in a leather suit that's tight. Who the hell? Of course we can say that, and I won't be told I cannot say that. I'll say whatever I want, and also say Elizabeth Olsen drop dead gorgeous in Starship, which, of course, we played the night of our evaluation, which, of course, gets me in trouble from YouTube. The next morning I get a thing that says, you can't use Starship. I just use Starship. Don't tell me what I can't do. This is MMT. I'll do what I want to do. When I do this stream, and Steve, I appreciate the fact that you appreciate the stream. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I don't ever worry about a copyright or I can't play this song or I'm not going to get monetized if I do this. That has never been a consideration. If I want to play a trailer, I'll play it. I want to play a song, I'll play it. It doesn't matter. This channel is fun for me. Okay? I hope it is for you guys too. I want to talk about cool films. I want to recommend things, and I want to hammer things that deserve it. Okay? That's what we do here. And I'm never going to be limited by I can't talk about this or you can't use that. I'll use it. Now, yeah, here's the deal. Whenever I play something that's like a trailer or a song, it basically demonetizes the entire stream. Let me walk you through that just quickly, and then we'll get back to it. We'll talk about Marvel. Here's what happens. Whenever you put a stream out there, the number of views and all that shit comes together for the ad revenue. So whatever it is, you get something. It's not, trust me, we're not Stuckman. We're not Jeremy Johns. We're not Grace Randolph. I'm not pulling in millions of dollars here, okay? But here's the thing. Once you play the song, it's effectively over. And very often it asks me, do you want to erase the song? I say no. And when I select no, that means there's nothing coming from that. I don't care. Because for me, it's about creating something cool. When I told you guys I wrote my script, and of course I did, it's done. And at some point, we're just going to publish it, and you guys can look. You guys can read it and give me the feedback. But what did I tell you? I don't care if it sells. I don't care if it gets made into a film. I am happy we did it. And that's how I feel about this stream. I don't care if it has 10 million views. Obviously, we never got there. We never will. But the point is if you enjoy doing it, if you think you're decent at what you're doing, you shouldn't care if it has 10 million views or 10 views. It doesn't matter. It's never a consideration. Joker 2 went smaller and the audience hated it. Well, yeah, exactly, right? Because they are idiots. And Kusma, you understand, it is one of the best films of last year. Joker is a very good film and a very strong sequel because it doesn't give you necessarily what you wanted. And I'm so tired of people bitching about the sequel didn't give me what I wanted. No. The director can make what they want to do. And also, listen, as I say that, Beau is Afraid, there's a little bit of a limitation there. You start to make a film that's watchable. Joker 2 is totally watchable. Don't tell me it's Beau is Afraid, okay? That's unwatchable shit. But the point is the average person, listen, I sat in Friendship tonight, guys. When I'm sitting there and I'm listening to this guy, I don't know if he had 3 beers, 4 or 5, laugh at everything that's occurring on the screen, essentially, I start to wonder, I've talked about this quite a bit, I really think you need to start considering that the average person isn't all that bright. I say that very often, and I know that sounds, quote, mean, but the reality is the idea that the average person is intelligent or has a good sense of humor or is smart about things, that's erroneous, man. I'm telling you, so many people are so basic, right? They just have so low expectation. So I think with what Todd did with that film, is it super ambitious? Does the musical totally work? Does the courtroom stuff totally work? No, but I still love the fact that at the end we say, screw you guys, he's gone. I think it's great. I mean, I'm totally down for that because I don't care what happens to Arthur Fleck. My life's going to continue going. I want to see someone that throws something at me that I go, okay, that wasn't what I was expecting, and I'm pretty cool with it, right? I always talk about the films that I like the most typically are the ones that go for it and go somewhere really dark. You know, go back to Friendship here tonight, a film that you've been told is a pitch black comedy. Really, it's not, okay? Nothing happens in Friendship that remotely touches something where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe the director went there. If it did, then I would have been bigger on this film, okay? We will talk about, listen, Jacob, we'll talk about Studio on Sunday. I've got to save something. This stream's going to be tight. We're going to do 30 max tonight. I am exhausted. I fell asleep before I went to Friendship, and I just woke up in time to go see Friendship. So I'm here. I got the stream in. We're going to go like a few more minutes, and I'm going to rip it out. The cord's out. I'm done. I need to regenerate, reinterest, get all that stuff back for Sunday. I have to have stuff to talk about. We'll talk about Marvel. We'll talk about what happened with the new Avengers. We'll expand on that. We can talk about, obviously, box office and other things, trailer watch, all that stuff on Sunday. Tonight, I really want to get to Friendship, talk about second weekend of Thunderbolts, which we just did, and let's hope that for Marvel's sake, this film does not fall like a crater. I mean, this thing, if this drops at like minus 60, dudes, I mean, it's going to drop hard. I don't think it can get, it should be better than 50, but I'll bet you it drops to 55 or higher. That's my guess. Fight or Flight's a great popcorn flick. Perfect to turn your brain off, enjoy that. Okay, maybe, I think I'm going to see Clown in a Cornfield. I have to see one or the other, and I like horror films more, okay? I know that film, right? I already see that film. I see that Josh is playing the same character he played in Trap, okay? Essentially. So I don't really need to see it. I'm not saying I won't. I just think I'm going to prioritize Clown in a Cornfield because, again, go back to Dale and Tucker versus Evil or whatever that film was called. That is a funny film for me. So if he can do something with that idea, with this Clown in a Cornfield, riffing off of a Terrifier at some level with the clown shit. Maybe we have something. We'll find out. We'll have that evaluation come up on Sunday. Any other comments? And then we're going to get ready to get out of here. That's how simple it is here tonight. My impression is most people have big hearts but small brains. It's probably true. I don't even know about that big hearts anymore either, though. I think small brains for sure. You know, it's just disappointing. You want to have people go into things and think critically, right? When you're watching something, you don't want to turn your brain totally off. You want to think, hey, how would I make this better? Is this working? What choices do I like that are occurring now? What have I seen so far that's a positive versus a negative? Where are we going to come down on this at the end? Is there something that's going to occur in that final act that's going to make me say, hold on, this is something special? These are all things I'm thinking about, right, as I watch it. Now, when you watch a Fight or Flight, you can probably turn your brain off and not do much of that. But when I'm watching a Friendship in particular, especially A24 films, because they are very ambitious, they have so much going on with them typically, I always ask myself, what would I do instead? That's not saying what's the movie I want it to be. What I'm saying is, here's what I would do to improve it. It's the MMT fix. Didn't do one tonight for Friendship, but the fix would be to lessen the absurdities, to make it more grounded. How often is that the note? Can you guys help me? How often is that the note? It's almost every time. No matter what it is ground it more. Lose some of the bat shittiness, okay? It's just something that comes up over and over. This town just can't seem to do that. Loves to push harder, go higher. I say bring it down, make it more nuanced, right? If the average bloke was smart, the channel, yeah, well, I mean, it is. Thank you, Kuzma. I appreciate that. I mean, listen, again, I've never, and I do mean this is the truth, guys. Bring me a Bible. I don't look at views, subscribers. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't. What I like to do is talk about these films, have a few of you, and I appreciate it, Kuzma, Steve, and everybody else in here who comes in, John, everybody who comes in. I appreciate that. It means something. But ultimately, I always tell you this, and it's the truth. You should not worry about the approval of others. Your job is to do the best job you can do, be happy in what you're doing, and then that's it. That's the win. The win is not likes, views, subscribers. It's none of that. The win is you doing it, you showing up. And I think we've shown up now for almost 3+ years, for God's sake. All right, guys, that's going to do it. It's a tight stream tonight. I want to thank you for being here. I'm going to regenerate a little bit of sleep, a little bit of interest in going to the movies. I mean, I'm just kind of in a spot where nothing except Warfare was great, right? But so many of these films are underwhelming me right now that I need almost to have like a 72-hour fast from cinema. And then I'll go watch Clown in a Cornfield probably Sunday and discuss that on Sunday night. That's a film I could turn my brain off for. But I just want to have fun, or at least be totally intellectually stoked by these films. This film sort of does tonight. It's just not what I would do with it. It's disappointing because I think there's something there that we could really work with. Thanks for being here, as always, from the City of Angels, MMT. Always a pleasure. I'll see you back here on Sunday for Breaking Box Office. Sunday night for the big Sunday Night Spectacular. Peace out. Live from LA.